want the pain to stop. Where do you start? Here. To talk or chat with real people who really get what you're going through, visit helpushereoc.com or call 877-910-WARM. It's free, it's confidential, it will help. Brought to you by the Orange County Healthcare Agency.
The KFI financial report brought to you by Bay Alarm. The Dow closed up 339 points, S&P up 47, NASDAQ ending the day up 155. Gold is $18.58 an ounce and oil $47.58 a barrel.
The KFI Money Report is brought to you by Bay Alarm. On duty today and every day for over 70 years. Visit bayalarm.com to get protected today.
Southland weather for KFI, mostly sunny out there. Slightly warmer today with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s for the LA Basin, Inland OC, the valleys, and the IE. Upper 60s along the coast. 50s for the high desert and 40s for the mountains. Another cool down on the way Thursday. Right now it's 71 in Fullerton, 70 in Huntington Beach, 65 in Fontana, and 64 in Thousand Oaks. We lead locals. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Layla Muhammad.
If you don't mind my wife referring to you as Jakey, she could probably send you a couple of suggestions.
Yeah, that's fine.
Gary and Shannon, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Shannon's been practicing this food joke that's coming up at the bottom of the hour. Neil Cervedra is going to join us. We're going to talk about Tasty Tuesday. So let's hope you nail it.
I'm going to actually have a request for you, an accompaniment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have a part in this one?
Well, you just have to play something. You just have to click on something.
Okay. Mitch McConnell finally acknowledged today that Joe Biden won the presidential election. He said the Electoral College has spoken, congratulating both Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. William Barr is on his way out in D.C., submitted his resignation at the White House yesterday in a letter. It was actually packed with praise for President Trump, but everybody's having knew this was going to happen, especially since he came out a week and a half ago and said that there was no evidence of any widespread fraud that would have changed the election.
Well, we get to go to the Happy Vaccine News desk now, where we find our Happy Vaccine News correspondent, Mark Remillard, with some, Happy Vaccine News. Mark, how you doing?
Hey, very good. Yes, the hope is we may have a second vaccine approved by the end of this week. We know that Moderna is going to have a hearing on Thursday, which is the same hearing, basically the same thing that we saw last week with Pfizer. The independent advisory board for the FDA is going to be poring over this data all day long. They'll probably take public comment again. They'll ask questions of Moderna's representatives of the FDA as they go over the safety and efficacy data of this vaccine. And then if all goes well, at the end of the day, they would take a vote. And if we saw what we saw with Pfizer, they would recommend that this vaccine be approved because they would say that the benefits outweigh the risks. So the FDA would then presumably issue some kind of emergency approval similar to what we saw with Pfizer. Could come similar timeline, maybe Friday night. This Moderna vaccine could be approved, just like we saw with Pfizer. So that means we may have two vaccines on the market and actually going out to people early next week, perhaps. So that would be another big step forward in the fight against the pandemic.
Would the expectation be that AstraZeneca would be close behind that?
And my understanding is their vaccine and Johnson may seek approval from the FDA in the early part of next year, maybe January, February timeline from there. And then, if all goes well with those vaccines as well, similar to what we saw with these two, then we could have those on the market as well, which again would only help the scarcity issue that we face right now, which is just so few doses compared to how many people we know we availability for a vaccine in the March, April, May timeline, and so including 2 more vaccines in that equation, it is important to making sure that there's enough vaccine supply, and especially with the Johnson & Johnson one, because that's only a single-dose shot. So if you think about the ability to ramp up production and scale, having to do it with half the amount of doses is pretty significant.
A technical question here, because I've seen different reports about whether these vaccines prevent severe infection, or prevent a severe case of COVID-19, or if they prevent infection, and do they differ?
Yeah, those data points do differ. The data, primarily, when you see that number, 95% for Pfizer and 94.5% for Moderna, that's in reference to preventing an infection of COVID-19. And so the FDA, for example, in the data that we released today, or that they released today on Moderna, said the Moderna's vaccine showed it to be highly effective in preventing COVID-19 at least 14 days after the second dose. And so it's a similar story with Pfizer. I believe that there is some data to support that the number of cases, so during the trial, there are on both sides, for both Pfizer and Moderna, there were instances where someone got the vaccine as part of the trial and came down with COVID. I believe in both of these, they didn't really have any severe cases in that group. So I think there's some evidence to show that these may be effective in at least preventing getting a severe case of COVID-19. But as we clearly know, 94.5 or 95% effective in actually just not getting COVID-19. So but there is still a lot of questions about whether or not you could actually carry COVID-19, not get it really infected yourself, but could you be shedding COVID-19? So are you still technically free from infecting others if you get this vaccine? That's actually something that they talked about during the Pfizer hearing, because there's just not a lot of data to actually to support that you're not at risk of spreading the disease even though you have the vaccine. So it's very complicated. There's a lot of questions with these things, but I think the overarching sentiment is this seems very effective in preventing the disease and you getting the disease yourself, and that there are no major safety concerns, and again, the benefits outweigh the risks.
We were talking a little bit ago about the first home test for COVID-19 that does not require a prescription, how that's set to hit store shelves soon as well. Would they be able to track the positive tests on that using the digital app that helps you interpret your results?
Yeah, good question. It does appear that that would be the case. So from the FDA's release today, they said that you get your data, or you get your test results on your phone, and then the mobile application, according to the FDA, requires you to put in your zip code and date of birth, and then from there, it says it reports the results as appropriate to public health authorities to monitor disease prevalence. So it does sound like, in so many words, it sounds like you get a positive test, you'll probably notify a local health authority. Now, I'm sure there's more fine print about that when you actually get the test and you can take a look at that, but that's what the FDA says. So presumably, yes, it may share data with local health authorities to let them know, hey, there's a positive test in this zip code.
That would be interesting, because I'd be curious to see if people did get a positive, how reluctant or willing they would be to report that to the local officials. But we'll see.
Right, so I think that's where this app plays a little bit of a role in that, in maybe automatically doing that. At least that's read the line, and that's what it sounds like to me.
I have one quick thing, Mark, because I think you'll find this fun. The Latvian University of Life Sciences and Technologies has been studying the progression of coronavirus in cats. And they say that while cats can get it, they say for some reason it goes through them so quickly that not one cat in all of Latvia has ever tested positive for the virus, but they have tested positive for the antibodies.
Oh, that's so weird. That's so weird. So they've got the antibodies, but not the virus. That's bizarre.
No idea why. That's bizarre. Run through cats like through the goose, but it does. Mark, thank you.
Mysterious day from Latvia.
We appreciate your time.
Hey, guys, thank you.
Usual holiday. Every single person ever known.
And he actually sounded mildly intrigued by that.
See, some people find Latvian cats interesting.
ICU beds and us running out of ICU beds.
Yep.
And this person says that we're playing down the fact that the ICU beds are running out, unconscionable, the whole thing. There should be a sense of urgency. I understand that. What I meant to point out is that a lot of the headlines that say X hospital, 75% of ICU beds taken up, are smaller hospitals, like Huntington Hospital that has 30 ICU beds. Of course, they're going to be at 75% capacity, probably. This time of year, usually, probably. I'm not laying it down. I'm just saying that the headlines are a little bit misleading because when you look at a place like Cedars-Sinai that has like 150 ICU beds, you're not seeing that kind of headline.
Right.
I think it's in direct relation to how big the hospital is all I'm saying.
And don't just rely, especially when it comes to a percentage. If you see a headline with a percentage increase in some way, that's
Look at more of the details. More of the numbers.
don't be lazy. That's not downplaying anything.
No. Very serious.
All right, when we come back, you ever had to excuse yourself from a very important engagement because your body was telling you at the time?
There's no way that Lamar Jackson ran to the toilet. I fully support him on this. And furthermore,
If he had cramps, he wasn't going to be running. If he had cramps,
That's not
ready
true.
to hustle into the locker
that's
room.
not true. I've seen guys run off the field with cramps to get an IV really quick. I've seen it happen. He was not
Do you get an
He
IV?
was not crapping his pants. I've got evidence. When we come back.
Gary Channel will continue. The Monday Night Football turkey trot. Green apple two-step.
That's not what that was.
You don't know?
How dare you? You're going to be stricken with something by the end of the show.
Layla Muhammad has something.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has spoken with Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin for more than an hour today as lawmakers try to reach an agreement on COVID-19 relief. Vice President Pence says he looks forward in the days ahead to receiving a COVID-19 vaccine and will do so without hesitation. The Boko Haram extremist group has admitted to abducting hundreds of boys from a school in Nigeria last week. We're checking in on the 110 next.
Hi, I'm Rick Edelman with a warning. Millions of people are buying stocks they think are low in price. Watch out. A lot of investors have no idea the risks they're taking. But you're holding steady, right? You haven't made a trade all year. That could be a problem too. With COVID on the scene, you might need more in cash than before. Maybe you need to reduce your market risk as well. Are you sure your portfolio is COVID ready? Call us at Edelman Financial Engine and let's review your investments and your entire financial situation and see if you're in good shape as this crisis continues. Not the time to go it alone. Call us at 888-PLAN-RISK. Talk with one of my colleagues here at Edelman Financial Engine. We'll review your portfolio and make sure you're ready for what comes next. And we'll help you get through this crisis just like we've helped clients get through every crisis for the past 35 years. Call us at 888-PLAN-RISK. That's 888-PLAN-RISK. Online at wrightdelman.com.
Mostly sunny and breezy, highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. Road work on the 110.
In South Atlanta on the northbound side, just before you get to right at Gage, actually, they have the Gage off ramp head down to Landing. That's just to talk if you're driving Manchester. The southbound side of the Manchester going down St. Adams at Gage, and then better before you get to 105. Kind of a problem for you on the 105 getting through Linwood from Central. You get about the Boulevard, then it's better before you get to 605. And once the degree of the roadway is long, the northbound side of the 405 just has to 710. Just saying everything's better there, like the right lane trucks start to slow down and slow down in Texas. And my traffic is talking about the California Labor and Workforce Development Agency. I'm Rebecca Campbell.
If you get COVID-19, you have the right to take paid sick leave. If you're sick, stay home and take care of your health and others around you. To learn more about your workplace rights, visit dir.ca.gov/COVID. Looking to refi and lower your mortgage rate again? And you want to own your home free and clear and faster than that 30-year mortgage you got, but the payments on a 15-year is just a little too much? Here's an interesting idea from owning. Why not split the difference? Right now, owning is an off-the-menu vaccines are the priority for some of the airplanes that have been flying around. And we've already seen an estimated 40 to 50% increase in online shopping this holiday season. So if you've been seeing this when you tried to shop, a lot of places are saying it might not get there until the 27th or 4th of January.
So star quarterback and, well, running back really for the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson had a banner night last night, but had to go into the locker room quickly during the third quarter because he has some cramping issues. And I said yesterday, these issues are popping up more and more on the sideline as the season goes on and as we get into the winter months. It happens every season.
But you mean legitimately cramping, not dietary, digestive.
No, I don't think that wouldn't have taken 20 minutes. He was in the locker room for 20 minutes or so, and that's the amount of time that you need to get an IV. And when he came back out, he had the white bandage right around the part of his arm where they administer the IV. And everyone online claiming that he had to crap his hands is wrong. And should, by the way, mind your own business.
Funnier that way.
Not funny.
It's a better story.
If you had to leave your shop right now because you were going to crap your pants, it would be funny. I would laugh about it. I would go public with it. We keep it our little secret because it's not funny.
All right. A little bit of an anger.
Well, I just felt bad for the kid.
No, I know. I get that. And I feel like part of it might be the experience.
No, I think part of it might be the fact that it doesn't make sense for him to be on the toilet for 20 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your pedals work perfect.
No. You know what?
Sometimes it takes that long.
Is that right?
There were some fantastic memes.
There really were.
Because there's a John Harbaugh one. This is so good. There's one
Yeah.
where John Harbaugh peeking under the stall door. And Lamar Jackson actually retweeted that last night and said, y'all are tripping. I definitely wasn't taking and the little poop emoji.
He said he wasn't pulling a Paul Pierce.
Yes.
When Pierce's faking injury was wheeled out in a wheelchair and then later admitted he had to go to the bathroom.
There was a great video of, and most NFL stadiums now have the tunnel camera, right? It's just an in-place camera up there available to TV networks where you can see the players coming in and out of the locker room. And they do it before the game or they'll do it at halftime. And in this case, they showed a shot of Lamar Jackson kind of running up a circular ramp to get to the Ravens locker room to go in there. And he's running, and it's kind of an odd run, right? Which makes
Because he has cramps in his legs.
Okay. But it was also because he's running in cleats on polished concrete, which if you do that wrong, I didn't see a carpet there.
Well, and didn't he have to put on the longer cleats because he was slipping around?
Yeah. So that's like, it's not just walking in high heels, it's like walking in shoes that have 3 different or 8 different high heel spikes on them.
Which added to the whole turkey trot.
Made it an awkward mud butt run that everyone has experienced at some point.
And then he comes out, just as the backup quarterback goes down with a knee injury, comes out, and on a 4th down and 5 to go, and everyone thinks he's going to run for it because he's been running for it all night long.
He started to.
And then just throws a deep shot to a wide receiver who had already dropped 3 balls. He could not catch a pass all night, and touchdown.
But then leaves a minute 50 for Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
Baker Mayfield trots down, gets a touchdown to tie the game. And then Lamar Jackson comes back and rolls down through the field to kick a field goal. They ended up with a safety. They ended up with a win by 5.
That Ravens kicker, Justin Tucker, is incredible. He's like the highest ranked kicker ever in NFL history.
Over 90%
Most
accuracy.
Yeah, and he's perfect from 50-plus yards.
Listen, I know he probably just got some IV for cramps.
But you like it better.
It's a funnier story if the reason he came back out with that towel on his back hanging down over his butt.
Just so you know, when you have to run out of here in the studio to crap your pants,
tell everyone.
Out you.
No, please tell everyone.
I wouldn't do that.
I do not want to get life where the fecal emergency overtakes the show. I'll sit here and continue the job.
I'll leave you to run out of here.
Okay.
And you're clean. All right, coming up next, Tasty Tuesday.
Yeah, speaking of hungry. Layla Muhammad has an update on some news. What's going on?
A restaurant in Agora Hills has had its permit yanked over COVID-19 violation.
An advisory from the city of Agora Hills says the LA County Health Department delivered a letter over the weekend officially revoking the health permit of Cronies Sports Grill on Keenan Road. The restaurant can't appeal through a hearing. Owner Dave Ray told me last week he was expecting this.
Our attorney is pushing for a court date and to kind of get our day in court, so to speak.
Ray says he stayed open for outdoor dining in defiance of the health order because he and his staff were going broke. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
This brought to you by DirectBuyers.com. The Orange County Sheriff says a judge's order to release 1,800 inmates includes hundreds of murderers, rapists, and child molesters. Sheriff Don Barnes says there are no more low-level inmates in the jail.
To date, we've released over 1,300 inmates with low-lying offenses who are serving the sentences. So we have been responsible in how we've evaluated the risk within the jails to help mitigate the COVID-19 threat.
Barnes says he has no intention of releasing dangerous inmates and will appeal the judge's decision. The order calls for 50% of the inmates to be released, transferred, or otherwise more socially distanced by the end of the month. Dr. Anthony Fauci says he hopes the president and vice president will be vaccinated soon.
Even though the president himself was infected and he has likely antibodies that likely would be protective, we're not sure how long that protection lasts.
Fauci says he thinks Joe Biden and Kamala Harris should be vaccinated with urgency as well. President Trump recently reversed the plan to offer early access to the COVID-19 vaccine for White House staffers. San Francisco School District has decided to rename Abraham Lincoln High School because of what happened to Native Americans during his presidency. The district's renaming committee says most of Lincoln's policies hurt Native people who had their land taken away from them. The head of the committee says Lincoln did not show black lives ever mattered to him. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. Let's head to debris on the 405. This is in Long Beach.
On the northbound side of the 405, just past 710, we have to stop traffic altogether because there was a bunch of debris in the deep right lane. So that's all been picked up, but as in the right side from Atlantic, that hasn't got cleared up. There's a crash in South LA, 110 freeway northbound side at Manchester. All three cars did make up straight shoulders. Now you'll see the right side from the 105 and that stays close to Dave where they still have that off ramp but down for roadwork. And there's a few crew working on the southbound side of the 5 and they're in the carpool lane. You'll have some mercy that now just delays certainly about lower as you still will have to take the things for different there out towards 105. I help you there faster. I'm a camel.
One of the problems with that, you know it's windy outside because it's windy inside to go to that track.
Is it cold in the bathroom? Probably just the window. I thought I'd tie it in.
Bathroom talk.
Yeah.
Gene and Karen, they'll take any talk. They are with the world famous sidewalk, up-to-date, energy-saving windows for over 25 years.
Yeah, all their windows, whether you want a slider, bay, picture window, all their windows are affordable, functional, and beautiful, and Window World stands behind their products for life.
Window World can show you how beautifying your home's exterior while making it incredibly energy efficient. Never been more affordable. So from 10 Energy Star windows for $45.19 or as little as $8 a month.
4 or 5 Energy Star windows and a patio door for only $38.19 or as little as $76 a month.
And they offer secure down and interest-free financing options. They make beautiful new windows affordable.
To learn more, just dial pound 250 on your cell and say Window World. That's pound 250 for Window World. Southland weather from KFI, mostly sunny and slight warmer today with high of 7. Upper 60s along the coast, 50s for the high desert, and 40s for South Bay. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour news with Layla Muhammad. You have 5 straight home mortgages without a bunch of fees. Our loan offers 1.99% fixed rate APR with no points or lender fee. Lock in a 1.99% fixed rate APR. Call 800-918-5200 or visit theteloan.com. Please call loan. Tomorrow, March. Rate subject to change cosmetics minimum $300,000 loan amount, 50% LTV and 745 for score. Certain restrictions apply. Subject to credit approval. NMLS 290 close May or May. Request for California Financial License number 6036970. Equal housing lender.
Warning. This product contains addictive chemicals. Inspiration is taste. If you turn this into this, we'll put it off
Solars.com.
People with chronic pain will tell you, the hardest part isn't the pain itself. It's the way the pain feels your joy. For years,